So beside me here, I have the Ryobi. This is the M class. It is the corded workshop vacuum cleaner. And the M class vacuum from Ryobi, this is their top of the line. So this is the most powerful, the best filter, basically the best workshop vacuum that Ryobi make. And we reached out to Ryobi to see if we could get our hands on this, because we have been detailing cars, some really, really dirty cars recently. And we have been stuck using a very portable workshop vac from Ryobi. Now, this here is part of the 18-volt line, and although a really good product, what we have found we have struggled with this is going through batteries. When we're cleaning very, very dirty cars, we're constantly needing to swap out batteries, hence why a corded machine like the 1500-watt M-Class that we've got here was something that we required in our detailing setup. So now we've been living with this vacuum for the better part of the last month. We have cleaned some very, very dirty cars with it, and we've cleaned some clean cars with it as well. And what we can tell you is the difference having a vacuum like this versus a smaller workshop 18-volt vacuum like this really cuts down the time that you need to spend to really get good results on cleaning the interior of a car. Now, big thank you to Ryobi for sending this product our way. They sent this to us free of charge. We're under no obligation to say positive things about this product though. We're gonna let you guys hear it, exactly how we have found our experience with this machine over the past month, which, to be fair, has been pretty fantastic. So I guess some of the highlights of this machine here is obviously 1500 watts. It's the most powerful vacuum that they make, and it's in the M-Class range. So M-Class means a couple of things. Number one is that you have the integrated power socket there, so you can power a tool up to 900 watts, and you can have dust extraction. So essentially you're using the power tool with the dust feeding right into the vacuum cleaner. And the HEPA filter on here as well is upgraded, so gets rid of 99.9% of dust particles. So it makes it a really safe vacuum to use as well. We don't necessarily need those features there. Maybe the HEPA filter, that filtration is quite nice, but we don't need to use the power takeoff system at all. For us, the way that we use this is to clean interiors of cars, to clean really dirty floor mats, to clean carpets, to clean seats. And the key thing that we're after is suction power. So given that we can plug this in the wall, we've got 1500 watts of power. The suction is rated at 22 kPa. Now, vacuum cleaner suctions are a really tough thing to judge if you don't actually have your hands on it. What I can tell you is that suction power from this versus this here, it is night and day. Like, this is fantastic for relatively clean interiors, picking up small spills. This here is an absolute workhorse, and it has the ability as well to act as a wet dry vacuum. So the things you need to know about this vacuum here is you've got the 2.5 meter hose. Obviously this is kind of stored on board, and I like the way that it attaches to the machine. It means we can store this quite tidily in the garage, just sits like that. But this is removable, so if we needed to replace the hose, if we had a crack in there, we could simply disconnect it from the front of the machine, just like so. And if we needed to, we could attach another hose, a longer hose, a replacement hose. And then on the back of the machine, we have storage quite nicely for the power cable. So you've got the little hook at the bottom and the hook at the top, and you can wind that cable around. One of the concerns that I had when we were looking at switching from an 18-volt vacuum over to one of these powered ones was just all the extra cables and the hoses that we had. Because obviously on a machine like this, it's very, very tidy. Your power's right here. Your hose is not all that long, and it just kind of sits on the top of the machine like that. So I was concerned about how messy this would look. But given that you've got the integrated cable and the hose that can wind around, Ryobi have done a really good job at setting it up. Now, in terms of the inside of this machine, so just a couple of clips here to take the top off. Actually, what we're going to need to do there is unhook the power cable. So we can take the top of the machine off here, and what we've got inside there is an absolutely massive filter. So the filter that we have installed is for dry application, so there is a different setup that you do here if you're wanting to use this as a wet vac. For us in detailing, we have an extractor, so it'd be very, very rare that we'd need to use this to mop up any spills. And then obviously on the inside of the machine, we have a 30 litre dust bin here. So we've detailed many cars. Actually, that's picking up quite a bit of weight in there already. But the filter simply attaches to the front here. These are purchasable replacements from Ryobi. You probably use a generic bag as well, but that should last us quite a few details. I mean, just in the last week, we've done 3 really dirty utes, and I think that you could probably pull out half a bucket from those, and yeah, we've got some heft in there. But essentially, this just sits on the top, attaches to the side here. And one of the things that we've found quite frustrating in the past with vacuum cleaners is the need to regularly clean the filter. And the way that you clean a filter, it's like, hey, these are great 99.9% HEPA filters, but you need to take the filter out, and then it's like, what do you do with it? You kind of have to bang it against the wall or bang it on the concrete in order to get all of the dust to fall out. This has a really cool feature. So it's got integrated filter cleaning, which is this on the top of the machine. So I'm going to plug this in and show you how this works, and then what we'll do, we'll go outside. We've actually got a vehicle that we're working on here today, relatively clean Range Rover Velar. We'll show you how we find using this in the actual real world is working out for us. So one more thing I'll quickly point out is we have some onboard storage. So in all 4 corners of the machine here, you've got these little slits where you can pop your tools. Now this vacuum comes with obviously your traditional like workshop hose that you can, comes with your traditional workshop like broom, like large attachment that you can use on, you know, carpeted surfaces. But what we find is that there are 2 attachments we use for this. We use the included brush. The tool that is on this machine 90% of the time is just your standard crevice tool. We actually do have the extendable, flexible crevice tool from Ryobi as well, which we do use at times to get under the seats and down in the crevices. But just this typical crevice tool here, this is the one that we use the majority of the time when we're detailing cars. So the way the integrated filter cleaning works is that when you find the filter's getting clogged, you don't have to take all of this apart and knock out the filter and wash it and wait for it to dry or replace it. All you do here is there's a little indicator light on the top of the machine, and if we turn this on, when we get to the point where the filter realizes that it is blocked, this light here starts to flash red, and it's really easy to clean it. So all you need to do is turn the machine on, and you are inserting the hose on the top of here, and you push down and hold it for a couple of seconds. And Ryobi state to do that about 3 times, and you can repeat it if necessary. So I'll show you exactly how this works. I'll see if I can get that red light to flag. It's if the filter needs cleaning or if the filter is blocked. So let's see if we can block the filter. So you can see we've got the red light flashing there. Now that's only because, I mean, I've got this attached to my hand. That hopefully shows you the suction a little bit there. But in order to clean this filter now, all we're doing is now the filter inside the machine is clean there. Now, in terms of how you can actually operate this, so we only operate in one way, max power, but you do have a dial here where you can dial down the suction power of the machine. So you've got that right there. And then on the top here, obviously you've got off, you've got on, PTO, this is the power takeoff. So that will automatically turn your vacuum cleaner on if you do have a tool attached to the power takeoff socket. So really handy, that way you're not having to flick your tool on and off, and also the vacuum, it's all done through the machine here. I'll just let you listen to the volume because it does go a little bit quieter if you're not using it on full suction. I don't know why you'd ever do that though. For a vacuum cleaner, we always want full suction. So that's max power. And we're down to minimum. Not a huge difference in that level. I'll go back to max. But you can definitely notice, like if we go to minimum power here, we've got the floor mats right here out of that Range Rover. We're on minimum power and we can pick that up. See how close we can get before it picks it up. You got to be pretty close. If we flick into max power, I mean fairly similar, but we can pick up, you can almost get 2 mats. The suction is pretty fantastic in this. All right, so that's enough talking. Let's actually show you how this works. One of the things that I like about this versus the smaller workshop vacuum that we had before, which would typically be fine to clean a car like this. As you're about to see, it's pretty clean on the inside. So we'd have to carry that inside the car and find a place for it to balance. Whereas this here with a 2.5 meter hose, we can leave it outside of the vehicle, and we've got plenty of room with the hose to maneuver on the inside of the car. So show you what we've got in here. Come around and have a look. Not a huge amount of dirt. You can see this is one of our maintenance clients, pretty clean inside there. We've actually got a couple of rocks, but this vacuum will have no trouble at all cleaning this up very, very quickly. Now, the way that we typically clean our car interiors is we would start using this attachment here. So this is our slightly softer brush, and we'll use this to help us dust some of these areas. So we'll use it here, we'll use it here. We'll use it around the seats as well, which will really help pick up any of the dirt that is embedded into the crevices of the seats there. And then we will probably move straight to our crevice tool. We'll be able to clean that up really quickly. So let's stock that away. It's really nice for areas like this as well, where you've got a lot of dust. So you can pick up a lot of it just using this here. Same for your air vents. We find that if we can get a really quick clean on those air vents, it means that when we're coming along and actually cleaning with our interior cleaner, it makes it so much easier for us. And then same goes on the seats here. You can see we've got a lot of dust in the back there. And that just takes it all away. Super, super easy to do your initial knockdown using that tool there. And then we would switch to our crevice tool. And the suction that you have with us is fantastic. Like, have a watch of this. As you could see, we had no trouble at all picking up the dirt in the interior, and yeah, relatively clean car, but let me tell you, we've used this on some very, very dirty vehicles over the past week, and it's done a fantastic job. Now, the only downside I would say for this machine, suction is fantastic, portability, hose length, everything is great. The only thing that I would love is to have a trigger. I would love to have a button, trigger, something on the handle here where I could turn the machine on and off, because with the longer hose and the fact that it's not in the car with me, I find I'm regularly having to step back out, come back to the machine and flick the switch. So if there was something on the handle that you could flick, or even a small remote I could keep in my pocket, I mean, that would be a game changer for this. So you've seen it inside the car. Now, the other common part of the car that gets really, really dirty are these mats here. Now, neither of these are particularly great by themselves in order to clean up a mat. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a little bit with this and a little bit with this, and then I'm going to show you a third-party accessory that we bought, which really makes this really, really easy to do. So let's start with the softer brush, which is good. If you have a dirtier mat, like this is good to start agitating some of the stuff you've got in there. You can see that it's kind of flying up, a little bit of static there. So let's turn it on and I'll show you this. I'm going to do this half and this half. So where this brush does well is any loose dirt. You can see I'm pulling hair around there. When it eventually dislodges, it'll come out. But pretty good to get a reasonable clean there. And then if we switch to the crevice tool, a little bit more work here, but definitely better suction. Just to be fair, we've picked up some dirt, let's put that one back on. And again, you can see the hair that we're picking up. So both of those do a reasonable job. I think if we're cleaning a mat like this, we would probably just stick with a crevice tool. Little bit more manual agitation needed in order to clean the whole mat. But we found that given that this is a pretty standard size here, you can attach all sorts of different vacuum accessories. We call this one here the flipper. I mean, self-explanatory. There you go, there's your flipper. We find this is really handy, attaches directly on, and this is good for things like floor mats. So we'll show you the top of this mat with this. You can cover a really wide area, and I mean the suction on this is amazing. But you can cover a really nice wide area with a little bit less effort than using the crevice tool. The only thing is the suction is so great that you find you fold the mat over itself quite often when you're using this. And there you have it, a clean mat. So really quick video showing you guys the capability of this Ryobi 15-watt M-Class vacuum cleaner. I find that this is already indispensable in our detailing setup. So having a vacuum cleaner like this is going to save us time and it's going to save us money in a high volume environment, meaning that we can get through more cars much quicker and get a better result at the same time. So if you're running a detailing shop or you're just into hobbyist detailing yourself, a vacuum cleaner like this, although bulky, the onboard storage makes it relatively easy to tuck in the corner of your room and is definitely going to make the results you get on the interior of your car all that much better. So a big thank you to Ryobi again for sending this our way to test out. We're converted. I didn't think we would enjoy having something we had to plug in the wall, but this vacuum has made our lives so much easier. So I have a feeling that another one of these might be in our sights. Get one of these set up in both of our studios, and that way we can be efficient and not have to lug this around in the car everywhere we go, because it was easy enough with this here, but this one is a little bit more difficult to lug back and forth between the two OmniGarage studios. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions at all around this machine or around this machine, I don't think we've actually made a video on this one, so maybe that's to come, but if you guys have any questions, let us know down below. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next video.